Namaste, United Nations. Today is a very remarkable day for each one of us at Soundarya Education Trust as we set ourselves in celebrating the 76th United Nations Day to localize Sustainable Development Goals and commit to implement them in our course modules, particularly focusing on goal number 1, no poverty, goal number 4, quality education, goal number 13, climate action, goal number 17, partnership for goals. With regards to our commitment to SDGs, we have reached out to remote areas and provided scholarships worth 5.1 million to the young women and men of the marginalized communities. In the next 5 years, we wish to double our efforts so that education is accessible for all. We feel humbled in sharing that our core foundations have revolved around good health and well-being of all our students. By organizing regular health camps, blood donation camps, pulse polio awareness drives, and many more, our focus has always been towards inclusion of the marginalized young women in providing good health facilities as well. We feel humbled in sharing that our core foundations have revolved around good health and well-being of all our students by organizing regular health camps, blood donation camp, pulse polio awareness drives, and many more. Our focus has always been towards the inclusion of marginalized young women in providing good health facilities as well. As National Education Policy remarked that the entire education system to be reconfigured to support and foster learning, so that the critical targets of SDGs can be implemented by 2030. We can, as an educational institution, abide by the National Education Policy to implement these goals by trickling them down in our students' courses through various dialogues, discourses, awareness drives, fun learning activities, and many more. We are proud to share that Soundarya Education Trust, which caters to more than 5,000 students, has not only talked but also championed gender equality through 50% girls representation in sports conducted on campus as well as various national and international platforms. As we accelerate ourselves in this decade of action, we stand together with Secretary General of United Nations, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, by implementing the SDGs in all our 5 institutions and creating an environment of ideation and sustainability for the students to champion SDGs and become the ambassadors of Soundarya for SDGs.
I'm Pratana Rishanbag.
And I am Sahana Aradhyamat. The day has come, the day of celebrating unity, not only among the citizens of India, but also among the brothers and sisters of diverse nationalities. More than ever before in human history, we all share a common destiny, and we can master it only if we can face it together. With this, I offer a very warm good morning to all the dignitaries, guests, delegates, teachers, and my dear friends. I welcome you all to this pleasant morning filled with great joy and immense exhilaration. Now, you must be wondering what the celebration is about, right? And some must have guessed it right. Yes, we are celebrating the 76th United Nations Day in the esteemed Soundarya Institute's group of institutions. It is indeed a moment of pride to mention that Soundarya is the only institute in Bangalore to celebrate United Nations Day by actively participating in programs and occasions related to the United Nations and the SDGs. The essence of the celebration is to admire the United Nations and the SDGs that they have proposed to the humankind. To give you a gist about what is United Nations, it is an international organization founded in 1945, currently made up of 193 member states. The UN and its work are guided by the purposes and principles contained in its founding charter. The United Nations has evolved over the years to keep pace with the rapidly changing world. But one thing has stayed the same. It remains the only place on earth where all the world's nations can gather together, discuss common problems, and find shared solutions that benefit all of humanity. The main intent of it lies in meeting the challenges of 21st century by proposing a series of measures to end poverty, sustain the future, and ensure global well-being of humans. And there are a total of 17 SDGs to ensure the same. Now, I'm profusely elated to take the opportunity to welcome our chief guests of the day. It's my privilege to welcome Mr. Harshvardhan Umre, IRS at the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, in his absence. We have Mr. M.N. Nataraj, the State Director of NYKS, that is the Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan of the Government of India. Renowned actress Ms. Radhika Narayan has joined the occasion. We also have Mr. Arun Sivak, founder of Global Culture, and Mr. Sailesh Singhal, founder of the Youth of India. We also have with us His Excellency Sir Rajiv Chandran, Officer in charge of UNIC for India and Bhutan, and His Excellency Rodrigo A. Carrazo, who is Permanent Representative of Costa Rica, United Nations, to be joining us online. It's also my privilege to welcome Mr. Soundarya P. Manjappa, Honorable Chairman of Soundarya Educational Trust, and Mrs. Sunita Manjappa, the Managing Director, in her absence. We have Mr. Kirtan Kumar Sir, Honorable CEO of Soundarya Educational Trust, and Managing Trustee, Dr. Pratiksha Ma'am. With immense pleasure, I also extend a warm welcome to all principals of institutions, including Suresh C. Heggadi, Sir, Principal of Soundarya Institution of Management and Sciences. Mr. Suresh Tunga, Principal of Soundarya PU College. Mrs. Chinnamma Kaverappa, Principal of Soundarya School. And Mrs. Lata Parthasarathi, Principal of Soundarya School CBSE. And Mrs. Renuka Devi, Principal of Soundarya Central School. We, along with Global Culture, Permanent Mission of Costa Rica to United Nations, New York, Youth of India Foundation, in collaboration with UN Information Center of Bhutan and India, are celebrating the 76th United Nations Day. On behalf of the management, I welcome you all to this August gathering. Thank you for your gracious presence.
Ladies and gentlemen, now hold your breath for a dance performance by Mr. Nayak and team. Let's have a big round of applause for Mr. Nayak and team.
ಗಣಾಧಿಪನ ಗೌರಿ ಸುತನ ನೆನೆಯಿರೋ
Thank you. I request you all to once again give a big round of applause for them. Now, I request all the dignitaries to move to the dais.
Today, I also welcome Mr. Anirudh from Let's Be the Change, a huge round of applause, and Dr. Channesh T.S., scientist, give him a round of applause. Thank you for being here.
We need not talk about the CEO. The whole campus is vibrating and echoing his prominence. His dynamic personality and administrative capabilities have enthralled the whole of the institute. A young, spirited social entrepreneur with proven ability to communicate with all levels of organization, I humbly call upon our very own CEO, Kirtan sir, to give the opening remarks to celebrate United Nations Day.
Good morning, United Nations. Respected dignitaries on the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, let me today present to you the blueprint Soundarya Education Trust has put forth to achieve sustainable development goals. We have immense pride in conveying our pilot plan for implementing most of the sustainable development goals, very much rooted at the foundation of Soundarya Education Trust from its establishment in 1993. Further, a step forward in realizing moral accountability. Our institution has taken up an array of academic projects and welfare-oriented since inception in 1993. Our action plan to reap sustainable development is synonymous with 3 I's of the digital mantra: ideate, innovate, and implement. We at Soundarya Group of Institutions firmly believe that harmonizing the sustaining power of all actions and inventions lie in the effective implementation of the sole objective is incorporating SDG, is to create value-driven development in all sector in a holistic way, in the form of holistic education. By sowing the seeds of sustainable development goals, we aim at securing a brilliant future without disrupting the present mission. Soundarya Education Trust is people-focused. Serving humanity is our top priority as we stand for charity, compassion, and commitment. Let me now outline that we accommodated and implemented some prime SDGs in our group of institutions to complement the values attached to each one of them. The first SDG is the number 4 SDG, quality education. Goal number 4, we promote equal opportunity for all the students to have access regardless of language, nationality, caste, creed, community, and religious barriers. Secondly, the most significant one is while designing the curriculum. The National Education Policy 2020 norms, the policies are being given special emphasis, as it is highly imperative to bring in the latest trends and reforms in the mainstream. The present trend that we have is STEM education, which is being nourished in our campus, and we provide our students an equal platform to groom their intrapersonal communication skills, further to expand their perception of world around. We encourage students to invent and innovate their thought process and research aptitude by participating in seminars and symposiums offered by reputed universities. We always allow our students to explore our less traveled roads to showcase their potential. We also have instituted merit scholarships for the deserving candidates so that socially and economically backward classes are uplifted. As much as in our higher education itself, 5.1 million rupees has been provided by the institution so far. In this frame, modern line platform like learning management system has been rigorously used to upgrade learning, especially during the pandemic time. Our students have been engaged constantly, engaged with their, building them, morally boosting them, and also there's some kind of quality content that is being presented by our teacher, which has helped them to keep their learning going on. In terms of simulations and animation is also placing in terms of rewards for conceptual understanding. And the institution is making pioneering effort in nurturing and molding the young generation in the direction of making their learning practical and pertinent in today's world of competition and innovation. It is constantly striving hard to provide a forum for the younger generation to perform in a manner that reflects democratic values and leadership qualities at par with the employability skills. As crux of value-based education of present time, we engage them in activities like internship, project work, corporate interaction, and expert talk. And now a major step that we have taken is SDGs, engaging in a deeper manner, going into their lesson plans, and it is going to be a value system in our educational institutions. In addition, to achieve the goal of gender equality and peer interaction among students for the students, sensitizing the students as SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, as values, and also as multi- and interdisciplinary programs are being organized regularly. And there is a sincere effort made for women empowerment by providing equal opportunity to participate in all kinds of sports and co-curricular activities. And also must highlight this, that in our achievements, the number of students who in all the group of events, whoever has participated, 50% of our girls who have represented in both national and international level, and they have brought laurels to our institution. So must appreciate this effort of the teachers, coaches, and also the students who have participated in this. And also kudos to our NCC and NSS team who personified service beyond their yeoman service in fighting against the social service. So I must tell that they have been contributing towards the society during the pandemic time. A student team has been delivering food to the neighborhood also. And our institution also aims to provide a healthy environment that enables growth, optimism, hard work, and all-round development with a better understanding of the cultural, moral, and social values of one's life, as it is required to make them global citizens. As a step towards realizing responsibility of contribution to health and well-being of society, there was a significant number of vaccine that was more than 2,000 doses have been administered on campus with the support of teachers and the principals. So that's a great service to the society that has been done from the institution, I must tell it here. And also constantly vaccination, pulse polio awareness programs, health camps, blood donation camps are being done constantly to enhance the lives and livelihood of the neighborhood. It's an observation that the organization has been constantly putting its effort. Soundarya Education Trust will be the pioneer in the locality for blending the sustainable development goals at the local level, and goals are highly promising and well designed to inspire its future generation to spin persistent success in materializing the goal. So I must tell, and it is my commitment, and along with the management, principals, and faculty, that we're going to constantly work in developing, in locally engaging our students as an institution in constant engagement towards sustainable development goals. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, as we accelerate ourselves in the decade of action, we stand together with the Secretary General of United Nations, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, by implementing the SDGs in all our 5 institutions and creating an environment of ideation and sustainability for the students to champion sustainable development goals and become the ambassadors of Soundarya for SDGs. Finally, I must mention this. Finally, I thank United Nations Information Center for India and Bhutan, Permanent Mission of Costa Rica to United Nations New York, Youth of India Foundation, and Global Culture for coming along in creating this great cause. So with this, I also take a pledge that we will go incrementally on plastic, and also my favorite goals are goal number 1, that is no poverty, and also goal number 4, where I take a pledge there will be a significant contribution towards eradicating poverty through coherent strategies, identifying the root causes of poverty, and also enhancing the quality education at an institution level where we create change makers for the society. So with this, I thank the guests for the day, M.A. Natraj sir, and also Radhika Narayan, and also I thank Shailesh and Arun Sivak for bringing up this great idea. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed this, but I request all of you all to vote this AV. It's been a compilation of our work from past 3 days and how our students, faculties, principals, and have engaged in multiple activities for implementation of SDG at campus. Please have a look. Let's have a AV, please. I, Kirtan Kumar, pledge to incrementally become unplastic. Namaste, United Nations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your informative and inspiring speech. Aren't you all curious to know more about our chief guest? Let me begin with His Excellency Augustine. His Excellency Augustine Valiat is a professional with 45 years experience as communication strategist, social mobilizer, writer, publisher, and communication trainer. He has served UNICEF for 23 years as a communication specialist working in the most challenging states of India. He has also served as media advisor to the Government of India. His Excellency Valiat is a trained journalist, joined the Voluntary Health Association of India as a health communicator in 1975 and was the head of the Department of Publications for 10 years. He also headed the health accessories for all HAFA in the Catholic Health Association. In CHAI, he founded the Health Action. He is currently the Indian chairperson of Geneva-based Non-Violence Project Foundation, a passionate advocate on child rights. he has contributed to many national campaigns. His Excellency Valiat is the founder director of the Asian Center for Entertainment Education and is working on linking communities like film, television, radio, and folk to priorities of our times. He is also associated with the New Millennium Listeners Institute and the Global Network of Community Colleges as the founder director. He is also the chairperson of Mindshare Yuva. He is editor of Unilink and the link for the UNICEF Pensioners Group in India. He is a mentor and guide to people who want to be part of the gig economy. We have a video message by His Excellency Augustine Valiat.
Good morning, friends, to all students and all teachers and all the VIPs. My greetings. Tomorrow is the United Nations Day, and very often we think of United Nations as a bunch of buildings in New York. So we have tomorrow is the United Nations Day, and we think many of us think United Nations is a bunch of buildings in New York and Geneva and Copenhagen and elsewhere. But actually United Nations is us, is you and me. And United Nations is our relations with people. People as children, people as young people as adults, people as women, people as senior citizens. So the United Nations is about all of them. And above all, United Nations is about peace. Peace within us and peace around the world. So when we say people, I would like to define United Nations in terms of 5 P's: people, planet, peace, prosperity, and partnerships. So people, you know that United Nations has many specialized organizations, some dealing with children like UNICEF, some dealing with women like UN Women, and also there are organizations like the FAO dealing with food and nutrition. There are organizations like World Food Program, which recently won the Nobel Prize. So all these organizations tend to deal with people and their issues. United Nations is also about the planet. So there is a wonderful program called United Nations Environment Program, and it is about ecology, about diversity in ecology. It's about the vulnerability of ecology. It is about climate change, and many of its the climate change ill effects we see all over the world. We all have been through massive floods, landslides, and a lot of people who are related to us, who are part of us, have suffered, died in the process. And as United Nations is also about our health. We know how much WHO has been struggling with the COVID and vaccine and all the other issues. And but United Nations is also about peace. Peace within us, peace without us, peace around us, peace between communities, peace between countries. So we need to strengthen that peace every which way. And peace means an absence of conflicts. So all of us should become experts in conflict management, and because conflicts erode our self-confidence. We have seen a lot of people suffering across the world, a lot of displaced people, and whenever the displacement happens, the worst affected are children. There is a saying that the adults go to war, but it is the children who pay the price. And that's what the story of all the wars. Then United Nations is also about our prosperity, about growing together, about that is why we have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And it is very important that each one of us commit ourselves to each of those goals, that we realize them. We don't have much time now. It's about 9 years. We have suffered very severe setback because of the pandemic. It's time to work hard and go back into and make sure that we achieve all the 17 goals, which are basically goals that are paramount to us, about health, about nutrition, about hunger, about food, about climate, about jobs. All of the sustainable development goals are goals about us. And then United Nations is about partnerships, partnerships of every kind, partnership within families, partnership in the neighborhood, partnership in the community, partnership between communities, and above partnership between nations, so that we work together, that we proceed with that fellow feeling and with that that most beautiful Indian word, with that sense of Advaita, meaning that there are no others. It's all about us. It is you and me, and it is the Brahma. So it is. So United Nations, on the whole, it is about us, and there are some very, very universal documents that United Nations has arrived at, and each one of us should familiar with each of them and the principles involved. United Nations started with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All of us should be very, very clear on on each of the articles of the Declaration of Human Rights, which is also the basis of our Constitution. So we should be very aware of this document, and we should also be very aware of the Convention of the Rights of Children, a document which took about 100 years to prepare. And finally, the document has now been ratified by all the nations, approved and signed by all the nations. But the Convention of the Rights of Children should not be a legal document sitting in New York. It should be a document in the hearts of all the children. It should be a document that dictates the way all the duty bearers carry out their duties. Now, who are the duty bearers? You look at from the Convention of the Rights of Children, you can divide the world into two: the claimants, the rights claimants, which are children, and everyone else. And everyone else is a duty bearer, be it a parent, be it a teacher, be it an official, be it a police official, be it a lawyer, be it you name it, and we are all duty bearers. So it is important that all of us have a hold on what does the Convention of the Rights of Children guarantee each child in this world. And it is not a charity to those children, it is their basic rights. So we need to be aware of this. Then, of course, there is the rights of women, of which needs, again, all of us need to understand this document, study this document, and make our policy makers practice this document. Not only just policy makers, also the people who enforce the law, people who govern the country, and more so, these documents should be in the hands of the community. All of us, it should strengthen our claim to rights of children, rights of women, and others. Then there is the Convention on the Specially Abled People. Again, a very important document, which I'm afraid has not really gone around well. So one of the resolutions as a group we should take today is that we'll familiarize ourselves with all these documents: the Declaration of Human Rights, the Convention of the Rights of Children, the Convention against violence and of women, of domestic violence about women, and the Convention on the Specially Abled People. So all these should be household documents for us. We should be able to speak it in our own language, the language we speak, and we should be able to practice it. So tomorrow, when we really celebrate the United Nations Day, this is what we should think about. It is about us, the people, the planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. And we should all get together as partners in this. I wish you all the best, and I hope the United Nations Day will bring a new feature, and a new sense of awareness and peace to all of us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed a very delightful speech. There is a solo performance of Ritvik Raju.
Hello everyone.
I would like to thank Mrs. Lakshmi Ravi Shankar, who is not here now, and Mr. Arun Shiva also. Lakshmi Ravi Shankar is the founder of IBAT and her NGO, which is engaged in bringing inclusion in wellness and recreational space, and they have provided an opportunity for Ritvik to come here and showcase his talent. I'm so thankful to all of you. Have a nice time. Over to Ritvik.
What a brilliant performance, Mr. Rajiv.
76 years ago, the United Nations was created as a vehicle of hope for a world emerging from the shadow of a catastrophic conflict. Today, the women and men of the UN carry this hope forward around the globe. COVID-19, conflicts, hunger, poverty, and the climate emergency remind us that our world is far from perfect. But they also make clear that solidarity is the only way forward. We need to come together to tackle great challenges and advance the Sustainable Development Goals by ensuring that every person, everywhere, has access to COVID-19 vaccines sooner rather than later, by securing and upholding the rights and dignity of all people, especially the poorest and most disadvantaged, girls and women and children and young people, by seeking an end to the conflicts that scar our world, by making bold climate commitments to save our planet and living up to them, and by building global governance that is more inclusive, networked, and effective, as detailed in my recent report, Our Common Agenda. The values that have powered the UN Charter for the last 76 years, peace, development, human rights, and opportunity for all, have no expiry date. As we mark UN Day, let's unite behind these ideals and live up to the full promise, potential, and hope of the United Nations.
I now take the pleasure of introducing His Excellency Rajiv Chandran. His Excellency is currently Officer in Charge at the United Nations Information Center for India and Bhutan. For 28 years, His Excellency has striven to create efficient communication and media strategies to strengthen United Nations outreach in South Asia and to facilitate better understanding in the region of the United Nations and its complex processes. As a National Information Officer at UNIC Delhi, His Excellency has created a unique branding for his office. Today, UNIC New Delhi is the accepted source of authentic information on the United Nations. Always approachable, honest, and frank on what he can deliver, or not, as the case may be, he is respected in professional circles for his commitment to his profession and the international organization he so enthusiastically represents. A media professional who has worked in television, radio, and the print media, he is committed to catalyzing youth on universal values espoused by the United Nations. He is a spirited public speaker and travels all over the country, addressing the youth on a plethora of United Nations issues, that is political, social, and economic. In 2010, he was conferred the prestigious National Award for Best Information Officer by the Journalist Federation of India. In 2014, the Media Press Club bestowed on him the title of Rashtriya Media Rathan. His Excellency firmly believes in and widely promotes the universal values that the United Nations represent. We have His Excellency on a Zoom conference.
Good morning. I would like to first congratulate the Soundarya Educational Trust for this absolutely fabulous idea and collaboration with the UN Information Center for India and Bhutan. I think it's a great moment as we celebrate this 76th anniversary of the United Nations, the 76th UN Day, to ponder about the kind of future that we want for ourselves. Because, for so long, the discussion has been that the future is sometime in the future. But I think it's time to realize that the future is now. And that you are the future, you are the participants in the future which has come to us now. And I think that that's a very important part of understanding the philosophies built around the Sustainable Development Goals. Very quickly, I know that there are many speakers and all of you are interested in hearing other young people speak, but I want to very quickly lead you through some ideation on what it is that we have to be aware of when we are tackling the future now. And the first is the planet. I think we have to realize that the planet is in red zone. That's really what the UN Secretary General said when he released the IPCC report just about a month ago. Science is telling us that we are at a critical point with the planet. And there is no planet B. This is the only planet we have. And so it is our common responsibility to take care of the planet. But unfortunately, the health of the planet is not the prime concern of a majority of us. We are still gauging success by individual wealth, individual access, and not as a community access to the resources of the planet. So I think this is very, very important that we realize that the planet needs our support. There is no planet B. This is the only planet that we have. The second idea that I want to leave with this gathering is that we have to understand that peace is at the foundation of all our dreams of development and the future. Peace, not in the traditional sense when the UN was founded in 1945, in terms of the absence of war, because after all, that was at the end of the Second World War that this organization was founded. But peace has today become a very, very complex idea. It is access to resources. It is access to human rights. It's access to services. So the whole concept of peace within the UN dialogue is dramatically changing. Those traditional challenges to peace, of course, remain. We do have countries at war. We have tribes at war in many parts of the world. We have problems of access to development resources and education. Women across the world find it more difficult to access opportunity. All this has to be woven into a culture of peace. Peace where human individuals can reach their fullest potential. Can we create the subsoil for that by coming together and discussing all the differences democratically and creating the basis for a new future? So I think this August gathering should think of both the planet and of what peace means today, so that we are able to look at the health of the people. When the United Nations was formed, the opening words of the Charter say, "We, the peoples of the United Nations." The purpose of the UN is to ensure the well-being of peoples. And that is a very, very important dimension. Whatever it is we are doing, we are looking at the human impact of those actions. And so all of development, all the strategies, we have to see that all human beings are able to access those facilities. Let us leave no one behind. Leaving no one behind is a UN strategy. Because we know that in India, as in many countries of the world, large pockets of population get left behind for various historical reasons. But let us work towards strategies that leave no one behind. And let us also, when we look at development strategies, try to reach the farthest first. And I think that these are very important thoughts that we should integrate whatever our action, whatever our field of specialization. These are common values that we need to integrate. I think we also need to work towards prosperity. It's an important aspect of development. The more society prospers, the more there will be for us to share with each other, the more to give those who are being left behind. So I think all of us, in whatever field we are working in, prosperity has to be in our mindset. I also want to underline the need for partnerships. I think it's recognized today that no individual, no group, no state, no country can achieve these goals by themselves. We need blended partnerships to come in. Blended finance. Part of your project will be funded by the government, part by the private sector, part by international organizations. So blended finance is what we all have to train ourselves to achieve. And it's an important part of the future. COVID this past year has taught us that all our systems are fragile. We need to be agile to manage change. We need to create systems within education, within our values, within our society, to see that we are able to together handle the crisis. The biggest crisis, of course, that is on our heads today is climate change. Next week, there is a big UN conference happening in Glasgow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to represent India at that conference to make sure that our common future is protected, is ensured, is secured. I think institutions such as yours, with young people, with young energy, need to work towards making sustainability an integral value of all action. Let us audit ourselves. Let us audit ourselves strictly. What is our carbon footprint? What is our electricity footprint? What is our food footprint? What is our water footprint? Can we do small things that can shrink our personal footprint so that the collective footprint is impacted towards a better world? I think on this UN Day, I want you all to look at these issues with really the importance that it requires. While the values of the UN, as the UN Secretary General just said, have no expiry date, unfortunately, the planet in its current trajectory seems, unfortunately, to have an expiry date. So it is our action, our increasing approach to sustainable futures that will ensure that our posterity can enjoy the planet much as we all have. Thank you. Congratulations on this marvelous event for organizing United Nations Day here in Bangalore with such enthusiasm. I'm deeply grateful for our partnership. Thank you.
Thank you for making time from your busy schedule, sir. Thank you once again for your kind words. Our next chief guest, Mr. M.N. Nataraj, sir. Mr. M.N. Nataraj, sir, is the State Director of Karnataka, Pondicherry and Tamil Nadu, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, Government, I request you to share a few words on this special occasion.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Most respected Sri Soundarya P. Nanjappa, Chairman, Soundarya Educational Trust, Mr. Kirtan Kumar, the young and energetic CEO, Mrs. Kirtan Kumar, Mr. Harun Shivag, good friend of mine, and Mr. Sailesh Singhal, global youth activist, founder of YIF, and dignitaries on the dais, all the youths who have made their presence here. First of all, I would like to thank the Soundarya Educational Trust as well as Mr. Arun Shivag and Mr. Sailesh Singhal for inviting me for the celebration of 76th United Nations Day year. It's a rare opportunity for us. UN is celebrating 76th birthday, but India is also celebrating 75th Independence Day, that is called Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav. It's going on now. So at this juncture, I would like to say few words on how the youth activities originated in India and how it is connected with United Nations. You know, in the year 1947, when we got the independence, the total population of India was just 33 crores. Now the population of India is more than 133 crores. So now this year we are celebrating 75th year of our independence in the name of Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav. In these 75 years, our population growth as from 33 to 133 it is now. It's a huge population. It's a huge human resource. So amongst them, who can be called as youth? So in India, we have two national youth policies. The first national youth policy was introduced in the year 2003, which says that those who are coming in the age group of 13 to 35 can be called as youth. But in the year 2014, again, Government of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports introduced a new second youth policy, which says that those who are coming from 15 to 29 age group can be called as youth. So now 15 to 29 age group population itself is more than 45 crores. What I am going to say here is, in the year 1947, what the total population we had, now the youth population itself is more than that. So across the world, India is leading. The youth population is concerned, India is leading now. India is leading. The young population is more here. That is why across the world, all the eyes are watching towards India, because it is a young India. So same situation was arised for United States of America 250 years back. Amongst their total population, youth population was more. So same situation which we are facing now. So India is having youth population more. So to constructively utilize this youth energy for nation building activities, in the year 1969, after 22 years of our independence, Government of India has introduced a new scheme called NSS, National Service Scheme, which is working with the student youth of India. But in India, we have non-students also. So NSS is working with students youth of India. Therefore, to organize the non-students in the year 1972. In the year 1972, which happens to be the silver jubilee year of our independence, Government of India started a new scheme called Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan. So Nehru Yuva Kendras at present are working in all the 744 districts of India, which including 31 districts of Karnataka. So we have, it is one of the biggest youth networking organization in the world, NYKS. So NYKS used to organize so many programs for the youths. Amongst them, leadership training, sports, games, cultural activities, vocational trainings. So like adventure programs, aqua sports, aero sports. At the same time, NYK and involving the youth for natural calamities. For example, in the year 1999, super cyclone takes place in Orissa. Super cyclone takes place in Orissa. So, nearly 1,800 youth went there. They have participated in rehabilitation activities of that. After that, there only we came to know with this UN agencies. At the time, in the year 1999, when we went there, shelter and sheds was given by, food was given by UNICEF and other UN agencies. So in the year 2001 also, Gujarat earthquake took place. During that period also, we went there and we worked. And we associated with UN agencies there also. So like this, UN is always playing a vital role for the humanity. At this juncture, I won't speak much here. So this is a great opportunity to take part in the 76th United Nations Day celebration year. So I take this opportunity to wish you all the best. At the same time, I would like to share one experience of mine. I was working in, since I belong to Central Youth Service, I was working in Delhi from 2004 to 7. At the time, I got an opportunity to meet the President of India, Honorable Prime Ministers and others. So I used to go with international youth delegation to President of India. During that time, APJ Abdul Kalam was there. So I got an opportunity to interact with them along with, youth delegations. At the time, whenever we go, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we have visited Rashtrapati Bhavan. Whenever we go with youth delegations, he always, President of India at the time, APJ Abdul Kalam, he used to tell, friends, dreaming small is an offense. Dream for big. Dreaming small is an offense. At the same time, always he was telling, friends, if you salute your duty, you need not salute anybody. If you salute your duty, you need not salute anybody. If you pollute your duty, you have to salute everybody. So this is the word which was touched me. And one time he said, in India or across the world, United Nations are monitoring all this. So many irregularities are going place. To control this, there are 3 persons who can play a vital role. Number 1 is our mother. Number 2 is our father. Number 3 is our teacher. These 3 persons, teacher, mother and father, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, yenide, aa reetiyagi. So that is why to change this structure, all of you to salute Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava and Acharya Devo Bhava. So I would like to request this August House to stand up and clap for this Matru, Pitru and teachers. So father, mother and teacher, please join with me for 1 minute. And they are the agent of change. They are the agent of change. Thank you very much. Father, mother and teachers playing a vital role in this world. With these words, thank you very much for joining me. Please sit down. Thank you. With these words, I would like to conclude my speech. Thank you so much.
Mesmerizing speech, sir. Thank you so much. On this special occasion, we have Mr. Harshvardhan Umre, who is Additional Commissioner of Customs and GST, presently posted in Bangalore. He has pursued education in BE Civil, LLB, IRS. He has special interest in the area of human rights and earth rights. He is currently working on a book on abolition of capital punishment titled The Humane Chain. He is also the founder of Ahimsa. Ahimsa is a platform for furthering the cause of human rights and earth rights. In the times of the ongoing pandemic, Ahimsa has been conducting web conferences to draw attention to various aspects of environment conservation, creating awareness regarding combating climate change, and recognizing and respecting the rights of the earth. I am honored to invite Mr. Harshvardhan sir to convey a few words.
Respected Mr. Natarajan, State Director of NYKS, Government of India. Respected Mr. Soundarya Manjappan, Chairman of the Soundarya Education Society. Mr. Kirtan Kumar, CEO of the SIMS Bangalore, and his lovely wife. Mr. Shailesh Singhal from the Youth of India Foundation. Ms. Radhika Narayan, my good friend Arun Chivak from the Global Culture, founder of Global Culture, other dignitaries present here, and dear students. At the outset, I take this opportunity to extend a warm greetings to you all on this historic anniversary of the 76th United Nations Day. In fact, the UN Charter was signed on the 26th of June 1945, but it came into effect on October 24, 1945, after it was ratified by the majority of the members of the United Nations. But before we proceed further, I would like to mention that what the world facing today, and we have heard the speakers before, and the most respected Mr. Rajiv Chandran, officer in charge of the UNIC, also spoke about the looming crisis of climate change, which is in front of us. On this today's historic occasion of the UN Day, I would request everybody to join me in taking an earth pledge. Ahimsa as an organization has drawn earth pledge, which is basically a commitment of our cause for the environmental conservation. The earth pledge, in fact, has been translated in more than 20 languages, Indian and foreign, from Turkish to Assamese and Kannada to Russian, Japanese, Tibetan, Chinese, and also Tamil and Marathi. It has been translated in several languages with the basic purpose to reach out to people, reach out to the villages and all of the places, the essential message of environmental conservation and the need to combat climate change. So I will be reading out the Earth Pledge. I'll be reading out? Yeah. So are they going to repeat after me or what's it? Okay. So here's the Earth Pledge for you guys. You can repeat after me. I pledge my allegiance to the planet Earth. Okay. I'll do it again. It is there on the screen there. You can see there. Yeah? Yeah? I pledge my allegiance to the planet Earth and the flora and fauna and the human life it supports. I pledge to protect and save the earth by adopting an environmental friendly lifestyle. I pledge to strive for a safer planet with clean air, water and soil, with justice, rights, and peace for all. I acknowledge that we are holding the earth in trust for the future generations to come, and pledge to strive to make the earth a better place. I believe that the earth also has rights like human beings, and pledge to strive to uphold the rights of the earth. Thank you, friends. Yeah. Thank you. So this basically, the Earth Pledge is a reiteration. Thank you. The Earth Pledge is essentially a renewal and reiteration of our commitment to the cause of environmental conservation. Going back to the event of today, when we are here assembled to mark the 76th anniversary of the UN Day. And I understand that the children will be very restless here because they have been sitting since morning and it's a hot sun out there. I wish it rained, you know. I really wish it rained. It's okay to sit in the rain. Okay? So as we are aware, it was the League of Nations which was formed in 1920 after the end of the First World War, which was the first ever effort at forming an international organization to arbitrate conflicts between nations. Though the League of Nations could not prevent the Second World War, it ceased to exist in 1946, but it sowed the seeds for the emergence and creation of the United Nations as a global organization to manage international affairs. The United Nations, which provides a framework for global governance, is in essence the symbol of mankind's idealistic quest for universal brotherhood and freedom. If ever the ideal of a borderless world would see the light of the day, it would be the United Nations, which would be that singular institution which would take mankind to that dawn of global citizens and international brotherhood. Friends, the UN has come a long way in its journey of 76 years, which is of immense importance and historical significance in the long march of civilization. Although there have been various shortcomings of the organization, yet it has survived several crises and stands today as the most credible international organization to manage affairs between nations. In fact, if I may say, the United Nations represents the hope of humanity. The UN has been in the forefront of not only working for international peace, conflict resolution, disaster management, humanitarian work, but has taken the lead in tackling the crisis of climate change, which is the biggest challenge faced by the planet today. The climate crisis, which the UN Secretary General describes as a climate emergency, has been the fallout of the continued degradation of the environment the reckless and irresponsible approach of humans in the singular objective of economic development with total disregard for the environment has brought us to this day where we are faced with the crisis of climate change. Friends, here it is relevant to mention that one of the most important acts of the UN after its formation was the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And as we say, the planet has been neglected for too long and has been taken for granted for too long. There is an indiscriminate violation of the rights of the earth by peoples and countries all over. While the humans have their human rights, what about the earth rights? Friends, the time has come now to recognize, acknowledge, and respect the rights of the earth, and the United Nations must adopt a similar declaration, similar universal declaration of the rights of the earth to protect and nurture the planet Earth, which sustains life of all flora, fauna, and human beings. Friends, this is the need of the hour. In fact, when we talk about the crisis of climate change, in fact, is a crisis of violation of the rights of the earth. And respecting the rights of earth is essentially fundamental to combating the crisis of climate change. Friends, the United Nations, in its endeavor to adopt a sustainable model of development, which basically points to the fact that the rights of humans and the rights of earth need not be in conflict. The economic development and the ecological requirement need not be adversaries, but they can be complementing one another. The demands of economic development have to be balanced by the need for environmental conservation. And here is where the United Nations, in its Sustainable Developmental Goals 17, has embarked upon to usher in an era of development where the needs of economic development are properly balanced with the requirement of environmental conservation. Friends, at this juncture, I would like to quote the words of Kofi Annan, who said, "If governments are unwilling to lead when leadership is required, people must." We need a global grassroots movement that tackles climate change and its fallout. Whether the government plays their part or not, we, the people, have a big responsibility and duty. The march towards safeguarding the environment has to be essentially people-driven. It is worthwhile to mention that the Sustainable Development Goals have entrusted the responsibility on three entities. Number one, the international organizations like the UN, the World Bank, and the Asian Development Bank, etc., the national governments, and the third important component for giving the responsibility and mandate for implementing the Sustainable Development Goals is the civil societies, individuals, and NGOs. Therefore, it is we as members of the civil society have an important role and a critical role to play in this fight against climate change. Friends, so today, thank you for listening me here. Thank you for calling me here and making this Earth Pledge reach out to people. I'm sure that we'll be making pamphlets of Earth Pledge and it would be distributed to the students. And in the end, I would like to conclude with the words of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and who said, "We are the only species that have the power to destroy the earth and also the capacity to protect it. We share the earth not only with our fellow humans, but with all the other creatures. Climate change threatens us all. It is one of those natural challenges that teach us that we must work together. making a common effort to reach a common goal. Today, we reiterate our commitment for that common good. Thank you very much. Once again, I express my greetings to you all for the United Nations Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for illuminating our heart with your inspiring and amazing words. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to introduce His Excellency Rodrigo A. Carazo. His Excellency is the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Costa Rica to the United Nations in New York, 2018 to 2022. His professional development in the public sectors include First Ombudsman of Costa Rica, 1993 to 1997, Member of the Legislative Assembly, 2002 to 2006, and his professional development in the private sector includes being a liberal professional since 1971 in the fields of economy, law, and international relations. He has also served as a consultant for international organizations, governmental, intergovernmental, non-governmental, as well as for private entities. He has 48 years of experience as a businessman in commercial, industrial, tourist, agricultural, and service sectors. To speak about his academic background, he is serving as a university professor in Costa Rica and the United States and the University of Peace. Member of the board of the Public Distance University in Costa Rica, he holds a law degree from the university and a degree in economic and social sciences from the University of Costa Rica, a PhD in political science and international relations from University of Geneva, Switzerland, and has completed further studies in history and international law. He speaks Spanish, English, and French. We have His Excellency Rodrigo A. Carazo to enlighten us all with his delightful speech through a video.
As you gather to celebrate the 76th anniversary of the United Nations, occasion which the mission of Costa Rica to the United Nations here in New York proudly sponsors, you asked me to, and I quote, to send you a message that would help you to grasp and give a larger perspective on the youth's leadership in recovering the world for an equitable and sustainable world. Let me tell you that the world is there for you to grasp, that the world is there for you to take over. Let me tell you not to allow being sidelined anymore. You know better. You know better than us. You have the solutions. You have been bred in order to grasp that word and take it over to a better condition. A better condition for you and a better condition for your offspring. Here in New York, we have been gathering since the 75th anniversary and finding a common agenda. This has been the work of the Secretary General to devise the leading paths for the future. But they were wise in something, and they decided to convene a group of young people to write a vision and plan for the next and future generations. It's not old people talking about young people, but young people talking about themselves and the future. Since I needed to give you some ideas, rather than have my ideas, I asked my friend, colleague, and dedicated server here at the mission, Alejo Magini, to give me those ideas as a young person. And he told me something that definitely links with the theme of your event today, the localizing of sustainable development goals. And Alejo, you told me to tell them that the practical way to do things will be to work upon the conditions that you people have and the conditions that you know, and take over and put them into practice. And that will be the best way to achieve them. Local action with a global vision. That's a great approach. I liked it so much. You got a pay raise today, and you were invited to come over and perhaps complete my thoughts.
Of course, thank you very much for the opportunity. The importance of uniting our local efforts in the different areas that we can focus as youth, in our social movements, in our entrepreneurial approaches to the solutions of the 21st century challenges is really important. The local action that we can do in our neighborhoods, in our classes, and at school, but also beyond in the connection that we have now thanks to the internet, can bring this future agenda in a common vision with the Sustainable Development Goals as the lead. And bringing all these projects from the local to the global requires the support from nation states, such as in this case with Costa Rica, to bring these ideas further into action that can really create a more sustainable future based on the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development.
You demand to give you spaces to shape the future. You demand to make you part of the decision making. Of course, it's not only your demand, let it be your action. Take over, go ahead, not be a sideline. Unleash your future now, because it is yours, not ours. Be connected and get going. Anything else, Alejo?
The importance of the challenges of this 21st century in terms of how complex it is that we are not united as youth. If we want to create a better world, we want to transform our realities, it is crucial that we start from the very local and we get to the global. And the UN has this opportunity and this vision that allows us to take the space and transform the spaces in which we're working on.
The UN and your neighborhood and your family and your community, your country, take it over.
Of course.
As you gather to celebrate the 76th anniversary of the United Nations,
Gracias, His Excellency. My dear friends and teachers, put your hands together to welcome Mr. Michael, who takes the privilege of entertaining us with his amazing beatboxing skills.
Good afternoon, everyone. I can't hear you guys. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Michael, and I'm a beatboxer. People who don't know what beatboxing is, okay? This three magical beat. The first beat will be sounds like this. The second one, and the third one. When you mix all these three sounds together, it sounds like. Did you guys like it? Can't hear you guys. Did you guys like it? Yes. The next one, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you what, if you guys go to pub, but below 18, you should not go to pub anyways. But if you go to pub or something, you hear something else called the techno, sounds something like this. Can I see all the hands up in the air? 1, 2, 3, go! You guys enjoying? Still can't hear you guys. Are you guys enjoying? Yes. I want you guys to do something with me. Will you guys do it? Yes. Simple. You have to do kuwak kuwak. Okay. Once more. Kuwak kuwak. So when I raise my hands like this, you're gonna do that. Yes? Yes? Kuwak. Timing is very important, huh? Kuwa, kuwa. Kuwa, kuwa. Kuwa, kuwa. Give it up for yourself, you guys are amazing. Okay, how many of you want to learn this? Okay, everyone? Check. Everyone. So you guys have to repeat 4 steps with me. Will you guys do it? Will you guys do it? Will you guys do it? Yes. The first step will be beatbox. So everyone just say beatbox. Louder. Beatbox. Second step will be beatbox. Okay. The third step will be beatbox. Oh, not bad. Last step, okay? Beatbox. 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 You have to practice a lot, huh? Are you guys having fun? Are you guys having fun? Yes. Last but not the least, I'm going to show you different kind of beat which is there in India. Starting from the north, Punjabi beat sounds like. When you come to south, what we play? What? I can't hear you. What? Tapangute? Someone said? So I want you guys to do this for me. Okay? Simple, you have to clap like this. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael. Thank you so much.
Captivating, fantastic performance that you brought the students out of the college is Arun Sivak. Mr. Arun Sivak is a Bangalore-based musician, a social entrepreneur. He studied music at the University of Gothenburg, Sweden, specializing in world percussion music and bachelor's in arts from St. Joseph's College, Bangalore. Mr. Arun has organized and participated in multiple art exchange and leadership programs between Europe and Southeast Asia in the past 2 decades. He has worked with many international organizations and governmental bodies such as United Nations, US Department of State's Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs, Department of Culture and Tourism, Abu Dhabi, and many more. He has founded and facilitated several musical projects invested in engaging youth towards holistic social action. His projects are aimed at aiding people from vulnerable spaces in society. His collaborative organizations include Agni, Trions, Stri Swara, and Swaha. Mr. Arun's latest initiative is Global Culture, an organization invested in arts education, where he works to create platforms for emerging artists, musicians, and social entrepreneurs who want to work towards creating social impact through the prism of the arts. Now, I request Mr. Arun Sivak to articulate a few words in this regard.
Hello, everybody. Namaskara. ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Okay. Did you all enjoy Michael? Okay, we're all in the same band called Swaha. Probably we have performed here before. How many of you have seen us perform before? Okay. So, do you want me to perform with Michael a short solo? Okay.
Check, 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 check. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap.
Soundarya, did you all enjoy it? I did something which is, I made you clap, right? But did I speak to you? But did I tell you that you need to do this? So what do you understand from this? Music has no language and music has no boundaries. So we all have performed over more than 35 countries representing India and the Indian folk music. And I'll keep this speech very short. So I take this opportunity to thank Soundarya Institution Management of Science, especially Mr. Kirtan Kumar sir. And our relationship has been for more than 4-5 years now. And he's been motivating so much, and every time he gives me a call and he says, we need more and more activities to encourage our students and keeping them inspiring and innovating. So I think you should give it up for a big round of applause for the Kirtan sir. And secondly, give a huge shout out now. Come on, guys. Give a huge shout out. And you know who is this for? I think this is for yourself. Because the last 2.5 hours, you've been sitting quietly and taking a break. So I think all the people on the stage will have to give them a big round of applause for having patiently sit there. And all the dignitaries present here today. And it's such an honor because Mr. Natraj sir and Mr. Harshvardhan sir has also been my very good mentors. And Sailesh is like a dear brother. And it was so nice to meet Radhika ma'am today. And of course, our chairman sir, very inspiring for young minds today. And also welcome to the Mrs. Kirtan ma'am. And today we all have come together for this movement, important and historic event in committing to sustainable development goals. I must remind all of you that one core principle of sustainable development goal is equality. we must ensure that we are leaving no one behind when it comes to achieving the sustainable development goals. Culture is who we are, what shapes our identity. Placing culture at the heart of development policies is the only way to ensure a human-centered, inclusive, and equitable development. How many of you know about the tribes of India? The tribes. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬುಡಕಟ್ಟು ಜನಾಂಗದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ? Okay, so that is where we are. So I run an organization called Global Culture. So what I've been doing the last 2-3 years is, how many of you know about Dollu Kunita? Yesterday you had the marathon, you had the Dollu Kunita, right? So that is just one part of the folk art. And today we had Yakshagana, right? Did you all enjoy the dance of Yakshagana? So Mr. Nayak sir had come 2 hours before to the venue and he was putting makeup for 2 hours to just do that 5 minutes of performance. So that is the richness of our culture. And today, talking about culture, our organization, Global Culture, has worked with many marginalized communities and groups who have often been discriminated and marginalized. And many times they suffer losing their identity, culture, and heritage. We pledge to create and support an inclusive culture by bringing all of them through their art forms and to continuing to be active citizens. I am very happy that some of these artists are here present with us today. I especially want to recognize today Ritvik Rajan, who in spite of their visual impairment have clearly demonstrated that art can be communicated in any shape and form. I'm very grateful that today we will be witnessing their mesmerizing performances after the event. Please give it up for Ritvik Rajan, guys, come on. How many of you are inspired by Ritvik Rajan today? Raise your hands. Great. The interlinkage between culture and natural heritage is a foundation of environmental sustainability and biodiversity preservation. And you know, so many of us today here, we had messages from all over the world. Are you all on social media, guys? So, you know, today, because you guys are waiting for such a long time, we decided that many of these videos, we will play it live tomorrow. So you'll need to come live tomorrow to watch the entire show, because we have musicians and inspirers, influencers all over the world talking and encouraging you, and especially sending a message to Soundarya Institute. So I would like to end this quote. And this quote is being framed by a very old Indian poet, and which was attributed, you know how many years ago? 3,000 years ago this was made. And that quote, even today, that inspires everyone, and that goes as, where there is righteousness in the heart, there's beauty in the character. Where there's beauty in the character, there's harmony in home. Where there's harmony in home, there is order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, the entire Soundarya team. And please, guys, give it up for the entire back-end team, the faculties and the students who are helping, trying to put up this fantastic show here. I think, I can't hear you. Do you like this show? Did you enjoy the show? Okay, so this is not just one person's energy, you know, it's an entire team. So there's a lot of team back there trying to coordinate with the technicians and teachers and principals and everyone. So I think you really need to give it up for them, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your marvelous performance and mesmerizing speech.
Hello, my name is Nima Finkeli Uskila. I am a musician, composer, and a social activist from Sweden. I am one of the founders of the organization Taluna. Our motto is empowerment through education, because we believe in education as a tool and that we can learn so much from and with each other. We want to be a part of the road to equality and justice in this world that we live in. Gender equality is something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to create more opportunities for women, girls, and non-binary people to get together, to learn, and to be creative. Creativity, be it in music, art, crafts, dance, poetry, or something else entirely, is something that brings us all together, and it doesn't even matter if we don't speak the same language. Culture, art, and creative cooperation, that's universal. The Sustainable Development Goals build on decades of work, and even though they have still not been met, we are on the right path. And throughout this journey, it's important to remember that we're doing this together for our future that we'll share with the generations to come. We want to leave this world a little better place than when we got here. I really do believe that we can do that, but we have to do it together. And you can use whichever tools you like. I believe in education and to always remain curious and open to new ideas and perspectives. One of my other tools is music, which I use to connect with people all over the world from different horizons. And when we play together and teach each other, learn together and exchange ideas and perspective, that's when magic happens. I'm so happy that our organization Taluna is a part of this United Nations Day organized by a Soundarya group of institutions, curated by Global Culture Organization and Youth of India Foundation. Keep doing your incredible work. I leave you with one of my favorite quotes by the great Albert Ayler. Music is the healing force of the universe.
Hello, I'm Biggie Vinkelu, a jazz musician, saxophone and flute, composer, educator, social entrepreneur living in Sweden and working international with amazing artists. I work a lot with my daughter, a very talented and thoughtful singer, violinist and composer. Recently, we have collaborated mostly with Indian musicians, artists, social entrepreneurs and are part of the Moon Hour International Collective and Global Culture, both located in Bangalore. I love music as a way to communicate beyond language, to convey emotions and feelings. I've collaborated with musicians from Western classical music, electronica, heavy metal, traditional Swedish folk and sacred music, jazz of course, fusion, salsa and Indian music, to find common ground and to create some kind of new world music embracing many cultures and perspectives. I am also the co-founder of Taluna, which works for gender equality and equal rights and opportunities for every human being. Currently, I lead a workshop orchestra for adults, mostly over 60 years old, to teach music, learning new pieces by ear, diving into harmonies, scales and rhythm patterns, and developing improvisation and soloing skills. Taluna has developed Proud, addressing girls and women through manufacturing sanitary pads using recycled material and through music and talks about gender equality. We have had workshops in India, Sweden and Uganda. More are planned. I am passionate about inclusion, support and the welcoming of all individuals into the community of people so we can all thrive and evolve together and reach our full potential. Education and opportunities for all, independently of money, belief, religion, philosophy, gender, intellectual and cognitive possibilities, is key for just, responsible and sustainable communities. The United Nations Day reminds us of our common goals and celebrates our achievements. I am very happy Taluna is partnering on the United Nations Day organized by Soundarya group of institutions and curated by Aaron Sivak for Global Culture and Youth of India Foundation. Thank you. Alma Mahler, Lee Krasner, Jean Cook, Elaine de Koning, Frida Kahlo, Camille Claudel, Marie Curie, Lil Armstrong, Alice Coltrane, Louise Nevelson, Lema Finkler-Uskila, Lille Boulanger, Cécile Chaminade, Maria Forsström, Doris Day, Viv Corringham, Mary Oliver, Edith Piaf, Violetta Dinesco, Cornelia Goethe, Sangeeta Ravindranath, Bessie Smith, Hildegard von Bingen, Anna Sivonji Buddha, Jean-Claude, Sappho, Amy Burnett, Esther Kieleberg, Lise Meitner, Nettie Stevens, Linda Harris, Ritu Caridad, Nandini Marina, Mia, Meredith Monk, Louise Bourgeois, Carla Bley, Barbara Thompson, Billie Holiday, Tina Raymond, Maggie Nichols, Elisabeth Claude Jacquet de Guerre, Biggie Finkele, Georgia O'Keeffe, Wilhelmina von Bayreuth, Diamanda Gallas, Ma Rainey, Artemisia Gentileschi, Queenies Mackenzie.
Our next chief guest is Radhika Narayan. Ms. Radhika Narayan is a renowned actress in the Kannada film industry. She has acted in over 10 feature films and has been in the industry for the past 6 years. Her notable feature films are Rangitaranga, U-Turn, Kafi Tota, Hottegagi Genu Battegagi, Mundina Nildana, and Shivaji Siratkal. She has worked with stalwarts like Ramesh Arvind, Shiv Rajkumar, and Anant Nag. She has been nominated for the awards in her performances in Rangitaranga, U-Turn, Mundina Nildana, and has won the prestigious Saima Award for her role in U-Turn. She has also acted in TV commercials and concept-based short films. She is a professional yoga instructor having certificates from Vyasa University and from Ashtanga Yoga. Her professional training in the classical dance form of Kathak by renowned dancers duo Guru Srimati Nirupama Rajendra and Guru Sri T.D. Ranjendra has helped her develop strong liking for the dance form and hone her skills in expression and movements. Her education has been in engineering and she worked in the corporate world as a software engineer before switching back to her true love of performing arts like dance and acting. She started acting on the stage with Vimove Theatre and was part of several plays in Kannada and English. She has also performed Kathak in several locations all over India with her gurus before pursuing a career in feature films. Radhika ma'am's grandfather was a yoga instructor and she grew up around an environment that was one with nature. Yoga and Ayurveda have always been part of her life. She is also vocal in her support towards sustainable living and practices the saying, sustainability starts at home. Radhika ma'am is known for her professionalism, her calm demeanor, pleasing nature and focus on the job. I request Radhika ma'am to share a few words.
Namaskara. First of all, thank you so much for sitting there in patience. It's quite warm and sunny out there, but I'd like to keep it very short and simple. And thank you so much for your love. Respected dignitaries on stage and dignitaries that joined online, members of the audience, teachers, and my dear friends. The pandemic hit us hard. And as we braved through it, we realized how little we need to survive, didn't we? This definitely goes to say a lot about how a certain human activities are causing an imbalance in nature. It taught us the importance to be incongruent with nature and nurture what it gives us. Keeping up with our mental health is one of the bare necessities during pandemic, don't you think? Through many years of teaching experience in yoga, I realized its therapeutic benefits in providing an overall physical and mental well-being. It has proven to help build immunity, help during pre- and postnatal stages of pregnancy, prevention and treatment of substance abuse, depression, mental trauma, just to name a few. And as youngsters, you guys need to know this. Clearly, these are some of the target points of Sustainable Development Goal number 3. I would like to take this opportunity to urge all of you to practice yoga or find the one exercise that you enjoy to maintain physical and mental well-being. So when I think of Soundarya, Soundarya is beauty, right? So I'm reminded of this line from Rangitaranga, a famous line that Sai Kumar sir said. I don't know if you have seen, maybe some of you can connect to it. Andada chandada mogada visharade bandare tondare yandava manda buddhiya manava. So we associate beauty with women, girl child, right? But there's something more that I want to talk about. Through my own life experiences, I've seen the importance of supporting girls and young women to make decisions for themselves on their career paths, their skills, or whatever challenges that life throws at them. This is the core to ensuring gender-responsive implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. Basically, this goes to prove that Sustainable Development Goals cannot be achieved with one eye shut. We need both. Effective implementation of the goals can be achieved only when both men and women work in partnership and in leadership in achieving gender equality with regard to equal opportunities around the globe, which is the core of Sustainable Development Goals. We must commit to supporting women and girls who come from marginalized communities like minority groups, specially abled, and indigenous groups. So I'd like to urge you all to take this step forward towards sustainability. It might be as small as you think, but on a larger picture, every small step matters and it adds up to a long stride towards sustainable development and a better future for all of us. I'd like to take this. Finally, I'd like to thank Youth of India Foundation, Soundarya Educational Trust, and Global Culture for having me here for the celebration of 76th United Nations Day. And it's a privilege and a great honor to be amongst you all and sharing my thoughts on sustainability and SDGs. Thank you so much. So I've kept it very short. I hope a great future for you all. You are the youth of India. You are the power of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind and inspiring words. Let me take the privilege to introduce you to our next chief guest, Mr. Sailesh Singhal. Mr. Sailesh Singhal is a global youth activist, community mobilizer, and strategist advocating for accountability, transparency, and youth engagement in the development discourse. In an effort to endorse intergovernmental, bipartisan cooperation, he has been promoting a cohesive framework for sustainable development. Mr. Sailesh Singhal is the founder of Youth of India Foundation, which is one of the 174 organizations from across the world to be granted special accreditation by 2020 United Nations Conference, and one of the 54 organizations to be given special accreditation to United Nations General Assembly. Youth of India is spread across 13 states and 12 countries, completing over more than 100 projects. Currently, Mr. Sailesh has been one of the 60 fellows to be nominated by Government of Saudi Arabia to be part of the Y20 community and has earlier represented Indian voices in the official Youth Summit of G20 Y20 Summit on behalf of Government of India in Germany. Mr. Sailesh co-initiated an Unplastic India campaign, for which he was invited to the first ever Youth Climate Action Summit during the United Nations General Assembly and called for Global Unplastic Day with the support of the head of the states, ministers of environment, ambassadors, and many more. Sailesh's work have been published by UNICEF Connect and have been featured in the United Nations Youth Flash newsletter, a monthly newsletter issued by the Department of Economic and Social Affairs Division for Social Policy and Development. He has been officially interviewed by United Nations TV and has worked with more than 20 countries. Now I request Mr. Sailesh Singhal to speak some words.
When I sit there, I realize that all of you students have been very active listening to each one of us. So we'll start it this way. Namaskara yellerigu. Hegidira. Can't hear you. Hegidira. United Nations wants to hear from you. So I'll ask it again. Hegidira. Tumba khushi agide ile bandu. So my Kannada was fine. Thank you so much. Now I know where I have to come. So I think it is very important to celebrate what have we been doing. And my friend and my dear brother has already complimented about the efforts of not only you, but also the people sitting here, including our chairman, sir, Mr. Kirtan, and the managing trustee, Radhika Narayan, of course, Harshvardhan sir, Natarajan sir. But you know what? Did you hear the video from the people who were there? One of them, who is the head of the United Nations. How many countries are there in the United Nations? Somewhere here, how many countries are there? So the head of the 193 countries addressed each one of us today. And I'm assured that we are one of those institutions who have had the opportunity to hear him. So let's have a big round of applause for the institution that we study and we are part of. Very quickly, I would like to share my experience. Because last day and the day before, all of you had asked, sir, how did you start your journey? And all of you has asked me how we started our journey. And I like to remind, back in 2015, when there was this Nepal earthquake that happened, we started our journey with a no. What does no mean? What does no mean? Na. मतलब नहीं करना है. Just like we say to our parents, homework नहीं करना है. Homework करना है, नहीं करना है. नहीं करना है. Teachers, please excuse them. This is with me and the students. So, I also heard no, but we took no as a new opportunity. What did we take no as? And we started a campaign called the Pocket Money Campaign, which was selected by United Nations as one of the top 5 world's best campaign. And you know what? When we started this journey, my parents and my teachers were like, no, Sailesh, you don't need to do it. You go back to your home, do your homework. But when we took a new opportunity, United Nations started bringing us close to them. And that is how the entire movement has started. I'm not going to talk much about sustainable development goals. I'm not going to talk much about how young people can do it. But of course, how many of you would want to travel to United Nations? Are so many ready to travel together? Are you sure? So do you want to know how you can travel? You can do that by yourself, not even taking help from the teachers and the institute. And I'm going to share that secret. 1, all of us are there on Facebook, Instagram. Are the parents sitting here? I hope parents are not sitting here, or all the students would be like back home, phone, and then social media deleted. But when we are there on Facebook and Instagram, let us utilize that moment to promote a lot of activities that we do. Maybe planting a tree, maybe switching off the lights here in the hall or maybe in your classroom, and post it on social media. Because everything that we are doing is connected with sustainable development goals. A lot of them suggested if you go out right here and take a right, a young gentleman called Pavan, right? Your name is Pavan? Sorry, Dhruv. Yes, so Dhruv has created a beautiful, sustainable model. And I would urge all of you to go and watch it. Because that young gentleman, that young student really believes in sustainable development goals. And when we can do that together, you tag in social media, in Facebook and Instagram, United Nations. You tag Antonio Guterres, whom you heard it here today. You tag Rajiv sir, you heard it here today. And of course, you can also tag Radhika, who is also very supportive towards all the sustainable development goals project that young people do. And I'm telling it with confidence. UN will call you. Because a young person like myself, I come from a city in Siliguri, which is in West Bengal. Not many of us also know. But United Nations brought me to them. And I have had the humble opportunity to work with more than 20 countries on policy making on how young people can do sustainable development goals in their country. But I didn't have that guidance. And how did that happen? How did that happen? Any idea? Social media. Share your ideas in social media, United Nations, and that can make a difference. So before we go, let us have a small pledge to incrementally reduce single-use plastic. So may I request each one of you to please stand. So last year in 2019, the heads of the other governments also took this pledge. And we are reiterating this pledge along with those world leaders today from Soundarya Institute and the Educational Trust. So you may repeat it after me, and well, we can have a mudra or a very cool sign, which, okay, help me, which is this? Yeah? Third finger, this is the SDG ring, and then we are going to take the pledge together. You can take your name. I, Salesh Singhal, pledge to incrementally reduce single-use plastic. I call for Global Unplastic Day. As students of Soundarya Educational Trust, we commit to sustainable development goals. Thank you so much, and let's have a big round of applause for each one of us today. Last but not the least, Uttidare! 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 I think the voice has only gone to the airplane. We have to go to UN. We will try it last time. Uttidare! Fantastic. This is the energy that Soundarya Educational Trust would have when we pledge together to implement sustainable development goals in the next 9 years, and as we take pledge for the next 1 year to implement them. Thank you so much. Let's have a big round of applause for each one of us.
Thank you so much, sir, for your marvelous and inspiring speech. Every youth here has got inspired by your words, and that is for sure. I request Keertan sir to hand over the mementos to Mr. Mr. Sailesh Singhal and Mr. And I request Pratiksha ma'am to hand over the mementos to Radhika ma'am.
On behalf of Soundarya Educational Trust, I extend my sincere gratitude to our chief guests, Mr. Harshavardhan, Mr. M.N. Nataraj, Ms. Radhika Narayan, Mr. Arun Sivag, Mr. Shailesh Singhal for sparing your precious time from your busiest schedule to grace this occasion. I also thank Mr. Anirudh from Let's Be the Change and Mr. Channesh T.S., a scientist. A special thanks to the chairman of Soundarya Group of Institutions, Mr. Manjappa, and Managing Director Sunita Ma'am in her absence. A sincere thanks to our Honorable CEO Kirtan Kumar Sir and Managing Trustee Dr. Pratiksha Ma'am for celebrating this special occasion with us. A heartfelt thanks to principals of institutions present here. The Managing Committee headed by Ramya Ma'am, teachers, lecturers, my dear friends, and everyone gathered here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and contribution to those who worked really hard to make this celebration of UNDA happen. Thank you all.
Hi everyone, my name is Triton and I am the founder of Master Plants. In Master Plants, we produce plant music devices. This means that plants can play music through our devices. By measuring a small electric current within the plants are able to play music on synthesizers and other computer equipment. Plant music is important because when people listen to plant music, they are immediately becoming aware of the inner life of nature. And caring about nature is one of the most important things that we as humanity can do in this present time. Master Plants is very happy to be partnering with Soundarya Group of Institutions on United Nations Days. And a special thank you to Global Culture and Youth of India Foundation for organizing all of this. Now please enjoy the video.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am Dhruva from grade 9 and I want to give a speech on a simple subject. The thing is, I don't want this to be a speech. I want to interact with all of you and I want to discuss on a rather similar topic which we have been learning all our lives. Clean water and sanitization. The world's earliest cells, as said by scientists and historians, or the prokaryotic cells known by us, was found only of water. So when water can give life to something so small, we should understand how important water is. And talking about the thing, water is a renewable resource. We can get water anywhere, everywhere. But the problem is, we humans, for our greed, have made this renewable resource a non-renewable resource by polluting, throwing garbage and everything, etc. By which I would just like to give a few examples on what and crisis faced by the people just by polluting water. In Chennai, the largest lake got dried up. by which most of the people don't have water supply in their home, or in a worse condition don't have water to drink in their home. The water tanker on the 25th of July on 2015 just costed 1,500, but the same on 2019 costed 6,000 rupees. People from IT companies have given all of their employees work from home. Men and women are standing more than a lot of hours just to collect a bucket of water, by which we should understand how important the resource is. And there are two kinds of water, the grey water and the black water. The black water is the water which is flushed down the toilets, the sinks and etc. Whereas grey water is the renewable source of water. This water can be easily used for other purposes except drinking. The best way of grey water is the water which we get from air units and the water which we get from RO units. Most of the people throw this water, but if this water can be used on an average, if we take 5 liters of water per day from an RO unit, we get a wastage of 17 liters of water. These 17 liters of water can be used to wash utensils, water plants and etc. And talking about the AC, if an AC is on the temperature of 16 degrees and on a hot summer day where the outer temperature is 30 degrees, within the time of just half an hour, we can gather more than 7 liters of water. When we have so many things we can do in the simplest things in our home, why are we not doing it? The government has done a lot of things for us. They have made rainwater harvesting system, the rainwater harvesting system almost compulsory to everyone, and Karnataka government has invested 72 crores only on cloud water seeding, by which if our government is doing so much for us, United Nations is doing so much for us, why we can't do something for ourselves only for the lack of time? The 5 minutes which we spend now, our future generations will remember this forever. Thank you a lot and allowing me to speak on such a topic. Thank you.
I, Shivani of grade 9th, here to pledge the Sustainable Development Goal 16, Peace and Justice. If you want peace, you have to work for justice. Thank you.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I am Shambhavi Das from 9th A. Today I am going to speak about climate action. Climate action means to take urgent action against the climate change and its impact. Climate change is the real and indisputable threat to entire civilization. Doing nothing will end up us costing a lot, and the results are already visible. If we don't do anything in the future, we have to pay a lot. Through education, innovations and loyalty to our climate commitments, we can make several necessary changes to protect our planet. These also provide us opportunities to modernize our infrastructure, which will create new jobs and it will promote greater prosperity across the globe. We can take several actions against the climate change. Some of them are: we can strengthen the capacity to deal with climate disasters. We can also integrate the climate measures into policies and plannings. We can build the knowledge and capacity to deal with climate change. We can also promote the mechanism to deal with climate change. So, by following all these actions, let's combat climate change together and help our planet. Thank you.
Good morning one and all present here. I, Paridi Garg of grade 9A is here to tell a slogan by Emma Watson. It's time that we see gender as a spectrum instead of two sets of opposing ideals. I repeat, it's time that we see gender as a spectrum instead of two sets of opposing ideals. Thank you.
Freedom cannot be achieved unless all women have been emancipated from all our oppression, said by Nelson Mandela. A very good morning to all. I am Jyotsna J from Soundarya Central School, here to present a short speech on gender equality. First of all, is gender equality all about having fundamental rights and having equal rights to equal rights to work, travel, earn money, etc.? If your answer is yes, I'm sorry. The truth is no. Women and girls have the equal rights as men from their birth. They have the equal rights to live free from violence and discrimination. So, gender equality is one of the major sustainable development goals to be empowered. Do you still think this society in this generation see both girls and boys equally? How much ever a country is rich, or having the equal population, or have the highest population, can they strongly say that they have achieved gender equality? Generally, if you say a girl that you are bold like a boy, she feels proud. But you say a boy that you are like a girl, does he feel the same as a girl felt? This society refers girls to cry, emotion, sentiments, fear, etc., and boys to brave, bold, active. And that is a major reason why our society has not grown yet. From adults to kids, everybody have the same mentality. Sometimes girls themselves imprison in the home so that they do not hear these talks from the society. Lastly, I would like to say that many of the girls have come across the words like eat like a girl, sit like a girl, walk like a girl, talk like a girl. Now I have a question to all those who have said these. Is it not simply enough to be a girl? Or is it necessary that you aware and warn her that you are a girl? Or is it necessary to make her regret herself only because of her gender? Or is it a sin to be a girl? I strongly want to state the point that be who you are and be bold in front of the society. Whether you are a girl or a boy, stay strong and always think there is a solution for any problem in this world. The youth of today is the future of the world. Then why can't we bring a change in seeing them differently, a change in not discriminating them, a change in not making them regret themselves only because of their gender. So I just want to say, just speak and love yourself. Thank you.
I, Bilwa Arkori, stand before you to talk about the topic gender equality. Gender equality is fundamentally a question of power and essential for better world. Gender equality means that the different behaviors, aspirations and needs of women and men are valued, considered and favored equally. Let us see what we are trying to convince about equality. Does a woman really need equality protocols? A woman will always be dependent until she holds a purse of her own. Once we look back at the ancient era and the glory of women, we may say that yes, woman is feminine but not weak. She knew the power of her mind and programmed it for success. If we see the sparkling ray of Indus Valley civilization, women have played an extremely important role in shaping the history. Rig Veda says that she is the leader of the society and provides knowledge to everyone. She is the symbol of prosperity and the daughter of brilliance. Atharva Veda states that woman is valiant, scholarly, prosperous, knowledgeable and courageous. She should take part in the legislative chambers. Gautama Buddha respected women and showed that woman doesn't need the courtesy of the society to prove her ability. Not only that, when we see the tremendous courage of queens like Queen Kurma Devi of Chandragupta dynasty, Queen Prabhavati Gupta of Vakataka dynasty, Queen Nayanika, the ruler and the military commander of Satavahana Empire, Rudramma Devi, Razia Sultan, Rani Durgavati, Chand Bibi, Jijabai, Tarabai, Vanke Ubawa, Kiladi Channamma, many more stars have served and protected their kingdoms with wit, bravery and courage. They all have proven that woman is capable. Year after year, confident, courageous, knowledgeable and determined women from all over the world made it a big success in various fields. We find women everywhere, from medicine to science, VLCC to Nika, Bicon to Pepsi, pilot to auto rickshaw driver, IIT to petrol bunk, researcher to army to vegetable seller, everywhere. Yes, equality is should and must. The society is still wrecked by a stigma that dictates that women are meant as indoor objects. This should be changed, or else this will become the darkest page of the human history. The Indian government is trying its best to ensure laws and policies for equality, but would like to say that behind every successful woman is herself. There is no boundary for sky, just woman needs to open her wings. Spirit of women should prove that in future there should not be a topic called gender equality to discuss. Thank you.
Climate is the average condition of a place over many years. Climate change is a shift in those average conditions. In 2015, all the countries of the world agreed that they would keep the condition about 1.5 degrees Celsius and net zero by 2050. Climate change can be 1.5 degrees Celsius. If it reaches by only 4 degrees Celsius, it would lead to terrible consequences. Like there will be a huge heat wave across the country, across the globe, across the world. There will be a rise in sea levels, leading to damaging of homes, people going homeless, and even death. There will be irreversible loss of plant and animal species. That is really a nightmare. So as a citizen, I would like to say that we all should contribute and save our planet Earth. We all know from our childhood that we should save electricity. We all know that. But we have to contribute. It is our duty. So in the end, I would like to say that we should all respect our Mother Earth and all the gifts she has given to us. Thank you.
Gender equality is not a women's issue, it is a human issue and it affects us all. So what is this gender equality? My name is Abhigna HS from grade 9th. Gender equality in simple words is that we all people in all gender and we have our equal rights and opportunities and responsibilities. So women always face the issues of gender inequality in every field. Gender equality is a severe condition in our current modern society. So in our spiritual belief, we believe that woman is a deity and are neglected. And also we always fail to reconsider her as also a human. So in past, women were meant to be indoors. They were restricted from doing everything of their interest. But many families, if they have a child, if it is a girl, then it may not have a chance to see the world because its family may put it to death or leave it abandoned only because of the reason of the dowry system in marriages and the point of view which is stuck in their mind that the girl is not capable of achieving anything greater than the man. And also if we glance at the pages of our history, we see many women warriors and their achievements are incredible. So we see women everywhere. We see them as a pilot or an auto rickshaw driver or in medical science, carpenter, engineer, everywhere and in also every field. So I like to say that to every citizens, we need to stop this gender equality and also that the gender equal society is when that the word gender does not exist and we all can be ourselves. Thank you, Andavan.
Hello everyone, I am Pavan from class 8. Today I am going to say a poem on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. People and hunger that I hate is the beaten burger that we ate. Where water is pure and clean, no one will sleep hunger, that's my dream. Our health is our major priority. Do not treat it as minority. There is a query in my mind that I think. Why boys choose red and girls go pink? Not only for this and also for toys. Dolls for girls and cars for boys. Let's pledge this won't take place and nobody will be discriminated by their race. Thank you.
Climate action is a stepped-up effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and strengthen resilience and climate-related hazards in all countries. The increasing temperature threatens food security, increases pests and diseases. It also causes frequent and intense floods and droughts. The major cause of climate action is greenhouse gases. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I, Ritik from 8th standard, I am going to say a slogan about rainwater harvesting. Without rain, we live in pain. But through rainwater harvesting, we can live in plains with prosperity and peace. Through this slogan, I would like to encourage everybody to use rainwater harvesting. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lena of 8B, and today I am going to give information about one of the sustainable development goal, that is goal number 5, achieve gender equality and ensure empowerment of girls and women. Gender equality, as we all know, enables empowerment of girls and women. It is the responsibility of every citizen of our country to ensure the equality of every citizen in our country. We all started thinking that discrimination has been taking place from the past ancient time, but the answer is no. If we go to ancient time, means before the ruling of British, women used to play a major role in forming territories and ruling the empire. This after the ancient times started modernizing and we had reached to the medieval generation, the people started deciding the limitations of women, that they should not go out, talk with any other and set their limitations inside their house and their kitchens. But now we all know that how important gender equality is. That is why it has become one of the sustainable development goal of gender equality. I must say, to conclude all these points, it is in the hands of our citizens to abolish this gender discrimination. Gender equality is one of the rights which comes from the birth of every citizen. So, keep gender equality, and every gender is important as the other genders, and women should also self-motivate themselves to grow more and to maintain the gender equality. Thank you.
Both men and women feel free to be sensitive, and both men and women are free to be strong. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sinchana Satish talking about gender equality. Gender equality is an equality where all citizens are treated equally with equal opportunities, rights and duties. Men with equality treat women with equality. Nowadays we can see more girls going to school, fewer girls forced for early marriages, and more women sitting in parliamentary as our leaders, and more laws towards gender equality. We can also see women competing at the same level as men. Women are in almost every field like soldier, lawyer, teacher, etc. We can also see that women are experiencing greater success and greater consumer satisfaction than men. In a country, to abolish poverty, to have happier men, women and children, we need gender equality. Thank you.
I am Nadi of class 9th A. Extreme poverty anywhere is a human threat for everywhere, said by Kofi Annan, in the 7th Secretary General of United Nations. Let us know what is poverty. Poverty is a condition where a man or a person who is suffering for even his basic needs. So now let us see what is the reasons for this poverty. Increase in population. 17 million people adds every year for the population, which increases in the consumption. Lack of agricultural development. This is due to the less illiteracy. This is due to the using traditional techniques and more. Now let us see about what are the we can do for prevention for the poverty. First, increasing in the equality for all the men, women and children, getting all the access to the basic needs, etc. Thank you.
I, Varsha Surpur, stand before you to deliver a poem on gender equality. Fields doesn't matter, work does. Gender doesn't matter, dedication does. But society doesn't agree this because it cannot resist. They say a boy should never play with a girl, sports for boys and toys for girls. With all these stereotypes, do we have any point of living in this world? Man and woman, two different words, but both share common spirits and souls. On this earth, we lie under same sky. Then why is the inequality going so high? In political, economic, social and religion, a woman can lead and fly freely like a pigeon. You can't put her in prison, she can change the world with her vision. People, oh people, let's spread the phrase gender equality and make the world change its mentality. Boy or girl, man or woman, first we all are human. No matter who we are or where we are from, we the people of earth have the power to break all the gender norms. So why waste time in gender inequality? Male or female, both are equal before nature. So let's make a beautiful picture in which we stand together and ban this problem forever and ever. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Nayana Echi of Soundarya Central School, standing in front of you to give a small speech on gender equality. Gender equality defines itself as a belief that all men and women should have equal rights, opportunities and responsibilities, or simply known as sexual equality. Today, India being the most democratic country in the whole world, we have that right. Men paid same as women, wife equal to husband, sister equal to brother. Not only this, today women are having the status of millionaires, billionaires and CEOs of their own built company. But does gender equality only mean the equality in the field of land they work? Of course not. Today also a woman come up with a situation where she is being asked, you are going to marry or you are going to have a baby, are you gonna quit your job? If a girl acts bold, she is being called bossy. This discrimination is not only with women, even a boy is discriminated. More often when people see a boy crying, they say don't cry like a girl. Why not he should cry? Even he has the same art as a girl which perform the same functions and he has the freedom to express it. Till today, no country has achieved total gender equality, and till this discrimination is continued, we are not going to achieve it. Gender equality is not a woman fight, it's a human fight and is a necessity to the world. So let's all join our hands together to achieve it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Anish Sagar Naidu of grade 8 studying in Soundarya Central School. Today I am going to speak a few lines on gender equality. Gender equality is when all the people irrespective of their genders have equal rights and are treated equally and are respected equally. Gender equality is also when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities and opportunities. Everyone is affected by gender inequality: women, men, trans and gender diverse people, children and families. It impacts people of all ages and backgrounds. We need gender equality urgently. Gender equality prevents the violence against women and girls. A nation can progress and can achieve higher development growth only when both men and women are given equal opportunities. Women in societies are often cornered and are refrained from getting equal rights as men to health, education, and decision making and in economic independence in the terms of wages. This is why many women can't express their talent in front of the world. Countries which have abolished gender equality have progressed a lot. Gender equality is a hindrance which stops the growth of a country. I would like to conclude my speech by saying, when the sun rises, it rises for everyone. Let us respect every gender and treat them equally. Thank you.
A country cannot be well fed until the development of women. Hello, my name is Rujan and today I am here to speak about gender equality. A society where there is no discrimination based on gender is an example for gender equality. Before knowing more about gender equality, we must cover negative parts of gender equality, which is also known as gender inequality. Gender inequality is the discrimination based on gender. Gender inequality creates unequal opportunities to women, which affects the overall development of a nation. Gender inequality is the main contribution for gender inequalities are patriarchal values. Patriarchal values focus only on the male gender. Indian society is mainly made up of patriarchal values, and the parents focus only on the male child rather than the female child. This creates gender inequality from the root. Every problem has a cause. Here are some causes for gender inequality. Considering male gender superior than the female gender is one of the main and root cause of gender inequality. Even though there is gender inequality in all the places, only few people volunteer themselves to eradicate gender inequality. Gender inequality is all around, not because of dominance or violation of men. It is because of lack of support to the female gender. For every cause there is a solution. It is the responsibility of the government to motivate people to eradicate gender inequality. Implementing rules would not work because government has implemented many rules to eradicate crimes even, but the rate of crimes are increasing. The government must motivate the people. Outside in motivation never works. Swami Vivekananda had said that our soul is our best teacher. So when the government is spreading awareness of gender equality, we must question ourselves: is the practice of gender inequality right? After implementing all the remedies, if we eradicate totally gender inequality, there will be some advantages of gender equality. Our country would progress a lot more faster if gender equality is totally accepted. When people accept gender equality, they treat all the genders equally, and this creates unity. Gender equality, once our country accepts gender equality totally, other countries would appreciate that and our culture would flow to other nations and other countries would also follow our culture. Since the time of human civilization, we have adopted and eradicated many things. Since the time of human civilization, we have adopted and eradicated many things. But the change in society is not immediate. In the same way, if we put our honest efforts, we can eradicate gender inequality, not immediately but surely one day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Somapriya. Today I am going to tell you about life on land. Do you know we depend upon forest for our survival, from the air we breathe to the wood we use. Forest provide us shelter, livelihood, water, food, fuel and other medicines. All these activities are directly or indirectly connected with forest. All after oceans, forests are the world's largest storehouse of carbon. Trees absorb harmful substances like gases and convert them into pure oxygen. Forests also provide us from a natural disaster like tsunami, flood, drought, etc. Protecting forests should be our first. Protecting our world should be our first priority in fighting against global warming and chemical change. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Deepika. I am from Soundarya Institution. I pledge for Goal 5, gender equality. We face colossal challenges, but with global solidarity and cooperation, we can overcome them. That's what the UN is all about. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a basis foundation for a peaceful, prosperous and sustainable world. Gender equality is when people of all gender get equal rights, responsibilities and opportunities. Everyone is affected by gender inequality. Women, men, trans, gender diverse people, children, families of all ages and all backgrounds. Societies that give equal respect to men and women are peaceful and healthier. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devatah yatraitastu na pujyante sarvatra tapala kriyaha. It means that where there is a respect for women, there the God exists. Gender equality, besides being a fundamental human right, is essential for peaceful society with full human potential and sustainable development. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Ramya Murthy KS from 9th grade CBSE. Today I am here to talk about the United Nations Organization's Sustainable Development Goals. You see, every year on 24th of October it is observed as United Nations Organization's Day. So they thought, why don't we celebrate this day in such a way that it will be useful for our society and it will also help for the betterment of our society. Henceforth, which is leading them to cause 17 goals, this is 17 goals, which promises, if followed in a unity way among all the nations, we can hope for a better future which is both healthy and happy. So I have chosen the 16th goal, which is peace, justice and social institutions. So without any further delay, I will get on with my topic. You see, we human beings just talking that we have to go with the pace of peace, always we have to go with the pace of non-violence. Just talking about it, it's not going to work. We have to also work towards it. Here, you can question me, Ramya Murthy, why are you telling we have to always go with the pace of non-violence? Why we have to opt for peace? Why not violence? You can question me, good question. But this is a bitter truth, but a fact that might be very hard to hear, but it should be accepted. If we go with the pace of violence only, our humanity might go extinct. Yeah, it's a bitter truth, but it's a fact. But we can obviously eradicate that, we can stop all that if we choose the path of peace and non-violence. Well, in the positive side, 10% of world's government have already opted for peace and non-violence, but the percentage is only 10%. You can obviously, I'm praying, crossing my fingers and praying to God that that 10% should go to 100% one day for sure. So let's cross fingers and pray for that. Second, justice. There are some actions that government is doing that is making people question, is democracy even existing or is democracy working in today's generation? You see, the following reasons are corruption, gender discrimination, racism, casteism, etc., etc., etc. I just don't even want to talk about that. But all these actions that government is taking is making people question, is democracy even working? Or are we living in a democratic world? You see, some countries claim to be democratic, but their actions don't show any improvement. So, as students, what can we do in order to take some actions, and what can we do in order to promote that every individual beings is having their own human rights. So, as human beings, as we students, we can tell the illiterate people, since we are literates, we know how to read and write, we can tell the illiterates that every human being is important no matter who the person is and what kind of background the person is coming from. Everyone are having equal opportunities and everyone are equal in front of the law. This is something that every student knows since we are studying social science or we are studying about politics in our education. So, this is the thing that we can do, we can spread the awareness among people. Last but not the least, social institutions, everybody are equal before the law, henceforth everybody should get equal opportunities no matter who the person is, from what kind of background the person is coming, everybody are equal in front of the law. With all this being said, thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. I would like to wish you all once again a very, very happy 76th United Nations Organizations Day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nityashri and I am going to speak about climate action. I would like to call it as an emergency. I would like to call it as a crisis which requires immediate action. We all know what is global warming, we know what is climate change, we know all these aspects, but we don't know the right consequences of these activities. Global crisis is a very important and a huge crisis which we must think about immediately. The crisis can lead to rising temperatures, rising sea levels, heavy downpours and many other disasters which can lead to the end of humanity itself. Due to the climate crisis, there are chances of rising sea levels which can lead to destruction of cities like New York, Mumbai and many other coastal areas which can go underwater by 2050. These are the main consequences of climate crisis. But in spite of all such happenings, we don't give our priority to climate crisis. Instead, we speak about economic development, financial inclusion and greater industrialization. Due to all these aspects, we are not able to succeed in protecting our environment. I would like to compare two planets, which is Earth and Venus. The average temperature on Earth is 14 degrees Celsius, but on Venus it's 460 degrees Celsius. This is a simple example which can show that Earth is a very important planet for human existence. Hence, we must protect this Earth. We are busy in blaming politicians, leaders and others around us. Instead of this, we must focus on our doings, we must focus on our activities and change our actions in order to lead to a better world. Hence, I would like to say that you are never too small to make a difference. Thank you.
Extreme poverty anywhere is a threat to human society everywhere. A warm greetings to one and all. Today my topic goes on poverty. Poverty has become a major problem in India which is affecting many people in India. So, to eradicate poverty, we have to take measures to eradicate this. Firstly, I suggest providing the basic facilities to the poor like shelter, food, clothing, etc. Providing these basic facilities may help them to lead a better life. And also I suggest to give a very good education for the poor. By giving education, they may take their own employees and become very confident to lead their lives. And thirdly, I take the measures to eradicate malnutrition, which has become a major problem in India, affecting many children and even many adults. Next, I talk about alleviating the problems like unemployment, hunger and lack of clean water, sanitation, etc.
As a student, as an individual, what we can do to eradicate this poverty? I take about donations. Donations which need not only be in the form of money, it can also be like donating our old clothes, our books to the poor children which they may use in the form of reading them and educating themselves, and they can gain a little knowledge to themselves. And also we can donate our old clothes which we are not using, like furnitures, may also help the poor to overcome in their lives. So stop checking your pockets for change. Check your hearts for some extra love and give it to the poor. Thank you one and all.
I am Dr. Suresh Hegde, Principal of Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. I feel it is my privilege and honor to speak on UN Day celebration of 76th year. The United Nations Day is observed on October 24th and marks the anniversary of the entry into force in 1945 of the UN Charter. The United Nations is an intergovernmental organization whose primary role is to maintain world peace and security. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel it is my privilege and honor to speak on SDG 17. And I have selected SDG 3, that is good health and well-being. Good health and well-being is one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations in 2015. The official wording is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for at all the ages. The targets of the SDG 3 cover and focus on various aspects of a healthy life and healthy lifestyle. Progress towards the targets is measured using 21 indicators. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 15 years, the number of childhood deaths has been cut in half. This proves that it is possible to win the fight against almost every disease. Still, we are spending an astonishing amount of money and resources on treating illness that are surprisingly easy to prevent. The new goal for worldwide good health promotes healthy lifestyles, preventive measures, and modern and efficient health care for everyone. SDG 3 targets the following. Everyone can help to make sure that we meet the global goals. Use these 13 targets to create action to promote health and well-being for all. Reduce maternal mortality, fight communicable diseases, prevent and treat substance abuse, universal access to sexual and reproductive care, family planning and education, reduce illness and death from hazardous chemicals and pollution. Good health and well-being is one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by United Nations way back in 2015. The official wording is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. The targets of SDG 3 cover and focus on various aspects of a healthy life and healthy lifestyle. Progress towards the target is measured using 21 indicators. Over the last 15 years, the number of childhood deaths has been cut in half. This proves that it is possible to win the fight against almost every disease. Still, we are spending an astonishing amount of money and resources on treating illness that are surprisingly easy to prevent. The new goal for the worldwide good health promotes healthy lifestyles, preventive measures, and modern and efficient health care for everyone. Everyone can help to make sure that we meet the global goals. Use these 13 targets to create action to promote health and well-being for all throughout the world. Reduce maternal mortality, fight communicable diseases, prevent and treat substance abuse, universal access to sexual and reproductive care, family planning and education, reduce illness and death from hazardous chemicals and pollution, support research, development and universal access to affordable vaccines and medicines, improve early warning system for global health risk and all preventable deaths under 5 years of age, reduce mortality from non-communicable diseases and promote mental health, reduce road injuries and deaths, achieve universal health coverage, implement the whole framework convention on tobacco control, increase health financing and support health workforce in developing countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 is a serious threat to the progress of SDG 3 aimed to ensure healthy lives and well-being for all. As the pandemic spread worldwide, the lockdown had over 70 countries putting a hold on various health services such as child vaccination, family planning, cancer screening, etc. The pandemic has also led to the overloading and overcrowding of health facilities, and many people have become afraid of visiting these centers for fear of being infected. Most non-COVID-19 diseases have been either neglected or interrupted, and healthcare system are in turn stretched beyond their capacity and capabilities to provide adequate care. This is a great reverse in decades of improvement and has reiterated the need for government to prioritize issues of healthy living and well-being and work towards the goal of SDG 3. The governments of countries who already suffer from health workers shortage and other healthcare systems should take advantage of the lessons learned during this crisis and build up resilience to combat future health pandemics and achieve progress towards universal health coverage. Keeping in view good health and well-being of human beings, we, the Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, have organized n number of health and well-being related events for the benefit of our faculties, students, parents, and people of a nearby neighborhood.
I am Devishri and I pledge SDG 4 quality education. It ensures inclusive quality education and promote lifelong opportunities for all. Access to education will help in removing inequalities. It provides the knowledge base required to tackle various problems like poverty, climate change, and so on. Education will help young minds to provide employment opportunities in high-skilled jobs as well as provide foundation for peaceful society. Thank you.
I am Shrikala and I pledge for the Sustainable Development Goal 17, that is Partnership for Goals.
Good morning, I am Mitra from 8B. Today I would like to share a few information on the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, that is gender equality. Gender equality is not just a basic fundamental right. Gender equality is successful when people of all genders like men, women, trans and children are treated with equal opportunities, rights and responsibilities.